So thank you very much. Thank you, Osvaldo, for joining me on this edition of the OTT Talks and our makeshift OTT podcast. And I want to talk to you today about what is still a fairly new initiative in Peru and in Latin America, a new think tank called REDES, that I think offers a very interesting model for other think tanks around the world to emulate or at least be inspired by. But why don't we start with who you are, Osvaldo? Can you tell us in a few words, who is Osvaldo Molina?
First of all, many thanks for this opportunity, Kike. I am a Peruvian academic. I am an associate professor in economics at Universidad del Pacífico here in Peru. I did my PhD in economics at Oxford University in UK. And now I am embarked in this enormous challenge to lead a new think tank here in Peru. I am very, very glad with this opportunity. I am really excited because I think that there's a lot of opportunities to do good things, but also a lot of fun there.
Yes, true. It is a fun job. Simon Maxwell always says that it's the best job in the world, but it's also an impossible job to.
It is.
I should say that I know Osvaldo for a very long time when we were research associates at the Universidad del Pacífico and shared an office. That feels like a lifetime away.
Yeah, indeed. We are young.
And Osvaldo, you've had an interesting career. You're an academic, as you say, but you've worked in government, and you've also worked think tank / consultancy type of work in the past, right?
Yeah, indeed. At some point in my life, I lead the Peruvian national system of targeting in the Ministry of Development here. And I think that was a great opportunity to understand the difficulties that the officials suffer to use properly the evidence in the public sector. So it was a very enriching experience for me.
Great, and this. So let's forward a few years to REDES. Can you tell us briefly what is REDES?
Yeah, of course. REDES, which is an acronym of Red Estudios para el Desarrollo, is a think tank that aims to be a kind of bridge between the academia, which is a sphere of knowledge generation, as you know, and the government and the general population here in Peru. And we have two main goals: raise the level of debate on topics of national interest, and also influence in public policies. And we have like three key elements that characterize our work. Independence. We have a board of directors which is completely independent, formed by very respected academics and professionals from different fields. And in fact, our research agenda is diverse and fits our mission of contribution to the country's development. Second, academic rigor. We have not only a great multidisciplinary team, but also we have many prestigious research fellows. And in fact, our research fellows are either Peruvians working abroad who wants to contribute to their country, or foreigners that do research on Peru and are attached to our country in many ways, or Peruvian academics who are already contributing from their fields here in Peru. And the third characteristic, or the third key element of REDES, is the effective communication. And Kike, here I would like to take a few minutes because I think that this is a very particular issue of the model of our think tank. And academics often struggle to properly communicate their work to people, and the knowledge generation could be understood, or at least the way I understood it always is like a marathon. However, academics only runs the first 41 kilometers of a marathon. For example, they really think that they finish their work when they publish an amazing book in a very, in a nice event. But they forget, or they commonly forget to run the last kilometer. Yeah. And nonetheless, is
the celebrating in that as they come to the stadium, they start to celebrate, raise their arms and look for the picture, and they forget that the race is not over.
Exactly. And it's in the last kilometer where the academic work can reach people and influence public policy. And that's the goal of REDES. So the main reason of the existence of REDES is this last kilometer. We understand our work as maybe in a very different way than many other think tanks. We try to complement the work of academics in other think tanks. We do not substitute it. In fact, on the contrary, we seek to repower their work. So this is like a very weird thing of our think tank that make us a very, I don't know, different case.
So to give people an image in their head. So at REDES, you have a small team of researchers, assistants, and communicators, but you use the research produced by a much larger group of associates, or say non-resident fellows, or
exactly
an informal network of researchers who are based in other institutions, whether they are Peruvian universities or think tanks, or foreign universities or think tanks that have a common interest in public policy or issues of public interest in Peru.
Exactly, because you know what happened, and in fact, this happened to me in the past. No, when you are an academic, you think your work finished when you publish your paper, I don't know, in a very nice journal. But in fact, this is the beginning of other job. No? So, but it's very difficult for the academics to do that, the other job. So we try to do that. In fact, it's very interesting.
With them, rather. You do it with them, of course, or you do it with them? Yeah.
With them. And it's interesting because, we understand REDES as, as a bridge, as an intermediate between, these research fellows at some point, but in the other side, what we have is the media partners. And it's very interesting because when we explain to each part of each side what we are doing, all of them found that it's very important and it's interesting. That's the reason why many very prestigious research fellows become members of our team, of our network, and also many media partners decide to work with us.
Right.
So this is the kind of work that we do, and as I said before, it's very weird. No, it's a very novel scheme of work for a think tank.
And what kind of activities involve that last kilometer that you've mentioned?
Well, many activities. In fact, we produce working papers, but also we produce concept notes or many different kind of published that are easier to understand for policy officers. We also at this moment we have 3 different podcasts for general audience. 2 of them in Comité de Lectura, another in RPP, which is the main radio here in Peru. Mm-hmm. We also produce material specific for social media, for social redes sociales, ¿no? For social media. For instance, in Twitter, we produce many infographics, graphics, informative illos. We have many videos. And it's very interesting because at the end of the day, what we found is that many people, many institutions need this kind of job and this kind of work. For instance,
you end up providing a service to them, but they're not necessarily paying for that service.
No, they don't pay it.
They pay with the content they've generated, or they pay with the knowledge.
Exactly. It's interesting because we have it's a problem of surplus and demand at the end, but there is something in the middle that make it that this interaction doesn't happen. But give me just let me give you an example. We at some point here in Peru, We are, I don't know, in 3 weeks we are going to have general elections. So when we talk with the national office, who are in charge of producing the OMPE, no? the National
Electoral Commission, I think, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. We discovered that they don't have funding to produce enough materials to explain people how to vote. And this is quite important in this situation because, you know, the pandemic makes it more difficult how to get to work, to the place for voting or this kind of stuff. So we decide to work with Transparencia, which is a very prestigious institution from from the society. Yeah, who is also who focus on this kind of stuff of elections, and with OMPE, with the national system, and we start to produce this kind of videos
to explain to the public.
Exactly. So now we have like, I don't know, like many videos produced by REDES in alliance with these two institutions. Many of them are, in fact, officials videos, no? To try to explain people how to vote or how to vote in the middle of a pandemic, the safety the measures that they have to take for safety of this kind of stuff. But this is interesting because we never think that it is important to notice, we just have like 5 months since we launched the think tank. We never think when we start this journey that at 5 months later we will be making the many of the videos, the informative videos for the people of the election. So we are very glad, and this of course mean that we are filling a gap, no, that happened, that they're existing in the society.
So let me take you back a bit to the origins of redes, and maybe we should know for those listening in or watching the video, redes means networks. And in a way, the business model of redes is in fact a network business model. So can you take us back to the origin? Who's promoting this? Where does the idea come from? When do you come into this project?
Well, our work is possible thanks to the generous contribution of ASBank, who is the Peru National Association, and
of banks.
Of banks,
yes.
The National Association of Banks here in Peru, and they decide that they would like to contribute to the country, to the Peruvian development, with a think tank. And it's important to notice that based on good practice and standards of international think tanks and foundations, these founders acknowledge the importance of the independence, no? And they think that this is a key value. So, in fact, we are very independent. Our independence is guaranteed because of our board of directors, and because, in fact, we never talk about topics that are related with the commercial interest of banks. So, but this is the beginning. No, we have an endowment provided by this National Association of Banks. Yes, indeed.
And you came in early on. You came in when it was an idea, there was an intention to create a think tank, but you still had to come up with a model and develop it.
Yeah.
How long did I should say that I worked with you along that process.
And we are very grateful for that.
No, I will take credit only if it works. No.
I know.
if it works, it's all your credit, because I think you've developed this business model yourself. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about that process. To begin with, how long was the planning process to launch it, and what do you think were the biggest challenges that you faced during that period?
To be honest, at the beginning, we don't know the kind of thing that we would like to create. probably at the beginning, we think in a more common model of the kind of thing that we would like to create. But you know what happened? We realized that there are very good think tanks in Peru and very good universities in Peru that generate evidence, but nobody in the society knows it. So at some point, we think, okay, we must be different, and our difference value must be the communication.
Yeah.
But then one step and the other, at the beginning we think that, then we decide that we are going to have like a kind of network of research fellows. We were very, very happy with the inclusion of very well-known and fellows. For instance, there are academics from Princeton, MIT, Harvard, Oxford,
and this is I should know this
Pacifico.
I should know that I think this is a great innovation. At the beginning of setting up a think tank, and even for existing think tanks, I think it's a great idea to reach out to that diaspora of Peruvian researchers working elsewhere that want to have a space in Peru, want to be visible in Peru, but do not have the institutional vehicles to do it. And so you can take advantage to that desire that everybody who lives abroad tends to have about their own country.
Exactly. And as I said before, not only Peruvians who wants to contribute to their native country, we have, for example, Chileans, Americans, Argentinians who work on topics on Peru, about Peru.
Yeah.
And this is what happened. For instance, one fellow, for example, they finished a paper who was about how to stop gender violence here in Peru. Yeah, and she did. She's an academic from Princeton, and she did a wonderful paper about that. And with our impact evaluation of a specific programs generated here in Peru, that they work. The programs work, so it's important. But this is the point. She produced a paper. She's in the middle of publishing a paper in a very nice journal. But that's it, again.
Yeah, nobody would know about this in Peru.
Yes, and she doesn't have the time or the expertise to make it more public, this knowledge. Mm-hmm. So that's the kind of, so when I talked with her, I said, okay, you know what? Let us, we can do it for you.
Yeah.
We can take that bullet and we can try to make it public, make that the society knows about it, make the evidence like a public good, mm-hmm. This evidence that you have produced. And also, if it's needed, we can, knock the door in the minister to talk about the exciting results that you have about this program. So she's delighted with work with us. We for example, we have an entire podcast episode about her work. And this is the kind of relationship that we have with the academics who are in our network. And so this is one side of our work, but then we have the other side, which is with the media partners. So in fact, they have like a kind of, in the other side, we have like a surplus of evidence, but on the other side, in the media, we have like a deficit of evidence. So we go there and said, okay, you know what? We have produced 6, and this is true, this is 6 documents about why the Peruvian health system is terrible and why it's not working and why this coronavirus pandemic shows all, destroy everything here in Peru. So what happened now is we publish like a special report in the main newspaper here in Peru, El Comercio. So we are going to publish periodically this work that we produce, not alone. We did it with Videnza Consultores and Janice Seinfeld, who is she did her PhD in Harvard. So now she has a consultancy firm in Peru. So we produce together these documents, and now our work is, okay, how we make this like a public good. That's the idea. And we work now as a partner with this newspaper, El Comercio. And this is the kind of issue that we are doing, intermediate between the surplus and the deficit of evidence. We are in the middle. That's exactly what we are doing.
And in this sort of brief period that you've been public, and you launched during the pandemic, right? I think
exactly
your launch was in the middle, which in a way works all right, because a lot of your outputs, all your outputs are digital, really. So
yes, indeed,
it works well that we're all stuck in front of a computer. But in this sort of brief period of existence, I mean, are you able to identify some intermediate impact or some impact at all? What would you say would be that impact that you are sort of happy about, or most happy about?
Well, it's a tricky question, but I would say that what makes me more happy is the kind of partners that we have. So we have a very, as you know, a very short journey, just 5 months since our launch. But since then, and I really hope that because of the quality of our products, many people and many institutions approach us and come and want to work with us from both sides, from the academic world, and this is true not only for people, for a specific guy who wants to work with us, like or for individuals, but also for institutions. Right. There are institutions who come, very different kind of institutions. Like I said, our academic partners, institutions who are from people in government lab in the Blavatnik School of Government at Oxford University, who are one of our partners. Or Universidad del Pacífico, who is one of the main universities here in Peru, but also smaller universities, also international organizations, multilateral organizations also knock our door to work with us. So this is the kind, and I think that this must happen because we are doing something good.
Right. So you noting the impact as there's demand for what you do. There is
exactly, and in the other side, it's exactly the same. For example, we start with RPP, which is the main radio here in Peru, but now they knock our door again to work in a special program they have, which is Integración al Bicentenario, which is a special production because of the 200 years of our independence, and they want to work with us as a partners again and again and again. So and there are many of them, many media partners similar. So I really think that this make me feel like, well, something good we must be doing. This is the first issue, and the second is that we are in Peru. You must know. There are not so many people following think tanks in the social media. But what is interesting, our numbers are really increasing in these 6 months. We are probably the only think tank who has a TikTok account. We have a TikTok account, I don't know, a few, 3 weeks ago. But it's interesting because many people are checking our videos and this kind of production. We are very glad with that also.
Do you think that? Let me put you a bit on the spot. But do you think that you're going to have to strike a balance between becoming another media organization, or another kind of vehicle of communication. As you grow, right? As more people come and watch your videos and come to your own channels. I mean, do you feel that people might associate you more as a communication channel vehicle than as a research organization, or that's fine? It's let's see what happens rather than let's plan ahead.
This is even a more tricky question than the previous one. At this stage, I don't know. Right. We only have 6 months. We have decided for this particular model, which in fact I think is very particular. I never heard about something like this. But for that exactly for that reason, we don't know how to balance this kind of stuff. I think this will be more evident in the coming months. No, right now we are very focused on producing important materials for elections, not only informative, but also about proposals for the next 5 years of government. Mm-hmm. In different fields, and so we are currently very focused on that. But I think in the coming months we are going to have the opportunity to think about our first months and what is coming. Yeah. And what is coming and how to balance what you said, which in fact is quite important. I think is one of our main challenges in the near future.
And I wonder what the effect will be on the broader think tank community here in Peru as well. It'd be nice to look at it in the future. But certainly, you've introduced new forms of communication. And you've mentioned 3 podcasts, but for those who have had a chance to listen to them, they target different audiences. They have different styles, right? They're more formal, some of them, much more informal, the other ones. And I think they are certainly the more informal ones are certainly more unique.
It's another interesting
issue. I wonder what you'll see also is think tanks copying some of these modes of communication as a way of,
I hope so.
As a way of not competing, but maybe feeling they don't necessarily need to go through other people. They can create their own, and that'll be another contribution to the objective of making public policy more informed and better informed here in Peru.
I hope so. As I said before, we really want that in the middle of the debate you will find evidence, and it doesn't matter if we do it or another think tank. We are very glad with that. Mm-hmm. The issue is that the good evidence must be public goods and can be consumed for everyone, and that's what we want. Mm-hmm. So if we are able to generate this spillover effect in other think tanks, we will be very, very glad. And but yes, indeed, what you said is true. We have a very informal way to communicate, So let me give you some examples. I don't know how to say this in English exactly, but these hilos in Twitter, how you have
threads.
Okay, so these tweets in Twitter, for instance, at the beginning we start and we did many very informative, very well prepared, no? But we noticed that not many people read it, so we decide that we must go further. Because another important issue is we want to go. Also, we want to approximate the youth. Also, it's important that. So we decide to have not only graphics but also memes or GIFs and this kind of stuff, which in fact I never seen before for other think tank, at least not here in Peru. But it was tremendous. The impact of that, it was very good, and we are very glad on that. And then, for example, jointly with the Universal Pacífico, we produced like a small micro program who is a program with the host is Carlos Parodi, which is a very well-known professor of economics here. And what he's do is in 2-3 minutes explain you very well an economic concept, which in fact is quite important in the middle of these elections, because there is so many concepts that nobody understands. But the point is, when we would like to produce the introduction of this program, we decide to do it, in a very, very, I don't know, something that can be very approachable for the youth. So I don't know if you have seen, but we decide, for example, with a specific music, and well, all the visual are for the youth, and it was very nice. The people really like the program. It's quite interesting because the people start to write, okay, please explain this and these other concepts and so on and so far. But my point is, exactly. But my point is, it's not only about producing a program, but also the communication style. And I'm completely sure that the common think tanks or university are more like, skeptical of doing this kind of style. No, they are not completely sure that they can do it, but we can do it because we are new. So we can
nothing to lose.
Nothing to lose on that. A lot to gain. So we can be fresh, and this is the way we understand our role also.
Great. Well, thank you very much, Oswaldo. You're giving us a lot of good reasons to promote the formation of new think tanks with new business models. New blood to be injected into these policy research communities everywhere in the world, and I think the REDES model is worth having a look at, and I'll share the website and
please do it,
and social media accounts when we share this video and podcast, and we'll probably be writing about this on our website on thinktanks.org. So thank you very much, Oswaldo, and we look forward to hearing from you and from REDES soon in the future.
It was a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity. Kike.
Great.
Many thanks.